If you allow your emotions to control your actions, you are not free. You are enslaved by impulse. Understand this clearly. Every man who achieves greatness has learned to master his emotions. He does not silence them, but he trains them. He does not deny them, but he commands them. This is not a matter of preference, it is a requirement, because life will test you. People will insult you. Circumstances will fail you. And if your emotions are left unchecked, if they are wild, reactive, and undisciplined, your mission will be derailed before it even begins. You must train yourself to be emotionally invincible. This is not about becoming numb. It is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming unshakable. It is about reaching a state where you feel deeply, but choose your response with absolute clarity and power. Emotions are powerful servants, but disastrous masters. Anger, fear, jealousy, doubt. These emotions can destroy a man faster than failure itself. You have seen it. A man with potential, with talent, with a dream, ruined by one outburst, one grudge, one wave of panic. What happened? He lost control. He let his feelings dictate his decisions. That is weakness. That is defeat. But you were not born to be weak. You were not born to be ruled by emotion. You were born to rule them, to train them, to mold them into energy that serves your highest purpose. The first law of emotional mastery is this: you are not your emotions. You may feel fear, but you are not fear. You may feel anger, but you are not anger. You are the observer, the commander, the architect of your inner world. Do not let a passing emotion define your permanent identity. The moment you begin to identify with a negative state, I am anxious, I am hopeless, I am broken, you cement that state into your subconscious. You tell your mind, this is who I am. And the mind, being obedient, says, very well. And so it becomes, but the truth is, your emotions are just signals. They are feedback. They are temporary weather patterns within the vast sky of your consciousness. You do not change the weather by yelling at it. You change the weather by understanding it, then rising above it. You must become the kind of man who can feel a storm and still steer the ship. That is emotional invincibility. You will face betrayal. You will face disappointment. You will face days when everything seems to go wrong. That is not the test. The test is how you respond. The test is whether you allow emotion to weaken your decisions or whether you use emotion to sharpen your resolve. The successful man welcomes the test. He sees it as an opportunity to rise. He does not panic. He does not retreat. He stands in the fire and says, I will not be moved. Understand, emotional invincibility is not found in books or speeches. It is built in the battlefield of life. It is forged through adversity, through choosing composure when every part of you wants to break. It begins with awareness. You must learn to pause before you react. That pause, that single moment of stillness between stimulus and response is where your power lives. In that space, you can observe. You can breathe. You can choose. Do not rush to speak. Do not rush to act. Do not rush to judge. The man who pauses becomes the man who rules himself. And the man who rules himself becomes the man who rules his destiny. Practice this every day. When you feel anger rising, pause. When fear grips your chest, pause. When doubt whispers in your mind, pause. Step back. Observe it. Ask yourself, does this emotion help me or hurt me? If it helps, use it. If it hurts, release it. But do not act unconsciously. Do not surrender your control to passing moods. You are building a fortress inside, brick by brick, breath by breath, thought by thought. And that fortress must be impenetrable. This does not mean you do not feel. It means you feel deeply, but wisely. It means you choose when and how to express emotion. It means you do not dump it on others. You do not wallow in it. You do not use it as an excuse. You transform it. Fear becomes focus. Anger becomes fuel. Sadness becomes reflection. You take raw emotion and transmute it into power. That is what separates the average man from the great man. Both feel, but only one uses what he feels to build something greater. Ask yourself, how many days of your life have been wasted by emotion? How many opportunities have you missed because of fear? How many relationships damaged because of anger? How many dreams delayed because of doubt? Now ask yourself this. What if I had been emotionally invincible during those moments? What if, instead of reacting, you had responded? What if, instead of exploding, you had stayed calm? What if, instead of doubting yourself, you had believed? Do not wait for life to teach you this the hard way. Do not wait for disaster. Train now. Begin today. And do not stop. Emotional mastery is a lifelong pursuit, but every step you take makes you stronger. Start simple. Wake up every morning and set your emotional state on purpose. Do not let the world dictate how you feel. Decide how you will feel. Say it aloud if you must. Today, I will be focused. Today, I will be calm. Today, I will respond with power. Repetition rewires the brain. The more you claim your emotional state, the more your mind begins to obey. You become the master, not the slave. And when adversity strikes, and it will, you will meet it not with panic, but with poise. You will no longer be the man who spirals. You will be the man who stands. And because of that, you will earn the respect of others. But more importantly, you will earn your own respect. And that, my friend, is where true power begins. Respect for self is the foundation of emotional invincibility. When you respect yourself, you no longer tolerate weakness in your reactions. You no longer seek validation. You no longer crumble when others disapprove. You walk your path with or without applause. You speak your truth with or without agreement. You stay grounded with or without support, because your strength comes from within. This is the man you are becoming, a man the world cannot shake, a man who knows himself so deeply that no insult, no setback, no storm can break his spirit. You must see yourself as the commander of your own mind. When negative emotion arises, do not resist it. Observe it. Welcome it like a visitor. Ask it why it's here. Learn from it. Then send it on its way. This is emotional alchemy, and it is available to every man who is willing to practice. Your thoughts are the architects of your emotions. Train your thoughts, and your emotions will follow. Guard your mind. Feed it strength. Starve it of weakness. Speak to yourself not as a victim, but as a victor. Declare your resilience daily, because you are not fragile. You are forged. You are not at the mercy of life. You are the master of it. This must be your new identity. A man who commands emotion like a general commands an army. No excuses, no justifications, no compromise. This level of inner discipline will bleed into every area of your life. Your relationships will improve. Your decisions will sharpen. Your influence will grow. People will feel your strength, and they will follow it. Because true leadership begins with self-mastery. The world is full of men who want to lead, but cannot even lead themselves. Do not be one of them. Be different. Be rare. Be the man who trains daily, who practices calm in chaos, who thinks before speaking, who acts with clarity, who holds himself to a higher standard, not just in action, but in emotion. That is what it means to be emotionally invincible. And it is a skill you build, not a gift you wait for. When you begin to understand that emotions are habits, not permanent traits, you reclaim your freedom. Just like physical habits, emotional reactions are trained through repetition. A man who habitually panics at stress is not weak, he is untrained. A man who lashes out in anger is not doomed, he is simply undisciplined. You can train yourself to respond differently, but you must want it more than your excuses. Let us not be gentle about this truth. You cannot become who you are meant to be while remaining a prisoner to emotional reactivity. Your destiny demands strength, and strength is forged through deliberate discipline, not occasional inspiration. You train your emotional strength the same way you train your body, through repetition, through endurance, through pushing yourself when it would be easier to surrender. Do not wait to feel calm. Choose calm. Do not wait to feel courageous. Act courageously. Do not wait for emotional peace. Build it from within. This is your power. You are not at the mercy of emotional weather. You are the architect of emotional climate. If you train consistently, you can walk into the storms of life and remain dry inside. Do you understand the advantage this gives you? Imagine two men. One reacts to everything. An insult ruins his day. A delay fills him with rage. A rejection makes him spiral in self-doubt. The other man, calm, focused. He sees the same insult, but it does not enter him. He meets delay with patience, rejection with clarity. Which man do you think the world trusts more? Follows more? Rewards more? The emotionally invincible man will always rise above the rest, not because the world is fair, but because the world trusts strength. That is what you are building. Let me tell you something the weak do not understand. Peace is not the absence of chaos. Peace is your mastery in the middle of chaos. You cannot avoid stress, noise, or negativity forever, but you can become a man who is unmoved by it. This power begins each morning. Do not begin your day by checking what the world demands of you. Begin your day by checking what you demand of yourself. Set your mental tone. Determine your state of being. Speak it aloud. I command my emotions today. I command my reactions. I will not be ruled by fear, by anger, or by weakness. I will respond with clarity. I will act with power. Let that become your new ritual. Do not let outside forces shape your internal state. Most men live like thermometers. They rise and fall based on external temperature. You must become a thermostat. Set your internal state and let the world adjust to you. This is not arrogance. This is leadership of self, and it is rare. Most men will never reach this level because it requires self-confrontation. You must be brutally honest about your emotional weaknesses. You must admit where you fold under pressure, where you react like a child instead of a commander. But from that truth, you build. Never confuse emotional control with suppression. Suppression is weakness. Suppression is denial. Control is awareness, discipline, and response. The man who suppresses emotions eventually explodes. The man who controls them channels that energy into precision. Precision creates success. And success does not come to the emotional drifter. Success comes to the man who is steady, intentional, grounded, the man who can be told no and remain composed, the man who can lose today and still show up tomorrow, the man who can be misunderstood, misjudged, mistreated, and still move forward with grace and power. You must become immune to offense. If you are easily offended, you are easily manipulated. If a stranger's opinion can ruin your day, you are handing over your power to someone who did not earn it. Emotional invincibility requires that you be unshakable in identity. Know who you are. Stand in it. Own it. And refuse to let outside voices define your worth. Let others speak. Let others judge. Let them misunderstand you. That is their right, but it is not your responsibility to absorb it. You walk your path. You protect your energy. You keep your eyes on the mission. The moment you begin defending yourself against every attack, you have already lost. Remember this. The lion does not turn when small dogs bark. You must rise above the petty, the reactive, and the emotional bait that keeps most men trapped in mediocrity. True strength is quiet. True power is composed. True confidence is calm. And it is this quiet strength that the world responds to. Practice silence when tempted to react. Practice stillness when chaos surrounds you. Practice clarity when emotions scream for control. Train this daily. Emotional invincibility is not a gift. It is a craft. A craft you must sharpen like a blade. If you do not sharpen it, you will dull your life. You will dull your decisions. You will dull your dreams. Every time you choose a composed response over a chaotic reaction, you strengthen the muscle. Every time you respond with patience, you gain control. Every time you override fear with action, you win. This is the game. And the only way to win is to stop playing like a victim. Victims ask, why do I feel this way? Leaders ask, what am I going to do with this feeling? Victims wait for the storm to pass. Leaders become the shelter within it. Which one will you be? Understand. This level of control does not make you less human. It makes you more powerful. It gives you access to states of mind that most men never reach. Clarity under pressure, confidence without external approval, decisiveness in uncertainty. These states produce results. They create movements. They build empires. And they are only available to the man who has earned emotional mastery. Do not get caught in the trap of emotional indulgence. Our world glorifies feeling over action. But success respects action over feeling. You will never feel like doing what must be done. You will never feel like being calm when you are insulted. You will never feel like trusting when you are hurt. That is why it is discipline, not motivation, that leads. Train discipline. The emotional strength to act in alignment with your values, not your moods. There is no shortcut. There is no hack. There is only you deciding every single day to act with power. This is where greatness is built. You must also learn to be emotionally consistent. Mood swings are the death of progress. If you are only powerful some days, you are not powerful. You are conditional, and conditions change. Your consistency must not be dependent on weather, traffic, opinions, applause, or results. It must be rooted in who you have decided to be. Do not rely on the right conditions. Become the right man regardless of conditions. This is what separates legends from the rest. And one more truth you must face. The journey will test you more the stronger you become. As you grow, the world will throw bigger storms, louder critics, and heavier pressure. But you will rise. Because your strength is not circumstantial. Your strength is trained. You are becoming emotionally invincible, not for applause, not for recognition, but for freedom. Freedom from inner chaos. Freedom from external manipulation. Freedom from fear. And that freedom will allow you to create, to lead, to love, and to live on a level few ever reach. But it starts here, with your thoughts, with your breath, with the decision to pause, to feel, and then to choose. This is the path. This is the work. And it is worth it because the man who commands his emotions commands his life. When you make the decision to master your emotions, you are no longer controlled by the winds of circumstance. You become your own anchor. You move deliberately, think strategically, and choose your responses like a warrior sharpening his blade before battle. This emotional command is not some spiritual ideal. It is a practical advantage. It is the edge that separates winners from whiners, the strong from the scattered. You cannot build lasting success on emotional fragility. You must be able to take the hits and still move forward with purpose. Do you want freedom? Learn to master frustration. Do you want results? Learn to operate under pressure. Do you want respect? Learn to respond with reason when others collapse into reaction. Because the man who cannot manage his emotions will be managed by everyone else. Think about that. If your mood can be dictated by traffic, by criticism, by delay, or by gossip, you are not free. You are enslaved. You have become emotionally domesticated, tamed by the world, reacting like a machine that someone else controls. But when you interrupt that pattern and decide, I control how I feel, I control how I act, I decide what this moment means, then you walk into every room, every conflict, every challenge with power. You no longer ask, why is this happening to me? You say, what will I build with this? That shift is everything. You must become a man who does not chase emotional comfort, but creates emotional resilience. You don't need things to be easy. You don't need people to be nice. You need to be focused. You need to be unshakable. A strong emotional core is built through adversity. Every time you get hurt and heal stronger, every time you are tested and do not break, you are reinforcing that core. Don't run from difficulty, use it. And remember, control does not mean coldness. You are not dead inside. You are alive, sharp, and alert. But your emotions are servants, not masters. They respond to your vision, your mission, your standards. If an emotion does not serve your purpose, you release it, not by denial, but by dominance. Most men are emotionally reactive because they have never chosen their identity. They are mirrors, not makers. They reflect whatever the world gives them. You must be a maker, a creator. Choose your identity, build your philosophy, and reinforce it daily with thought, word, and action. Ask yourself every morning, what would the strongest version of me do today? Then do it. Not feel it, not think about it. Do it. That action trains your nervous system to obey you. It rewires your emotional programming to follow your vision. Over time, you become the kind of man who does not flinch, does not fold, does not fear. That man is magnetic. That man attracts loyalty, respect, and results, not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. Emotionally invincible men do not need to scream. They do not need to prove. Their presence speaks for them. Their consistency earns trust. Their silence demands attention. Be that man. Let the chaos around you be a cue, not to join it, but to stand above it. Let the failures behind you be fuel, not to regress, but to rise. Let the doubts within you be signals, not to stop, but to sharpen your clarity. Every emotion you feel is a messenger. Fear tells you where you have not prepared. Anger tells you what you will no longer tolerate. Sadness shows you where you must release. Use these emotions, but never let them use you. You must also be vigilant of the internal language that shapes your emotional experience. Eliminate the words, I can't, I always mess up, I'm just not that kind of person. These are emotional viruses, spoken thoughts that rot your foundation. Replace them with precision. With direction, say, I am building discipline. I respond with calm. I turn adversity into advantage. Say it until your mind believes it. Then act it until your life reflects it. Do not underestimate this. Language is emotional programming. Speak like a king, and your mind will follow. Do not entertain conversations that weaken you. Do not rehearse pain you have already overcome. Do not revisit drama that does not serve your mission. These emotional leaks cost you energy that should be invested in your vision. There is no success without emotional budgeting. You must manage your inner state like an investor manages capital. Every reaction must be evaluated. Is this moving me forward or pulling me down? Because every emotional outburst, every mental spiral, every victim-centered narrative has a cost, and it's always paid in wasted time. You must protect your time, your attention, and your peace like your life depends on it, because it does. You must also be intentional about who you allow to influence your emotions. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Guard your environment. Just as you would not drink poison knowingly, do not allow toxic conversations, gossip, or negativity to enter your mental space. Not all feedback is truth. Not all opinion is worth hearing. Not all conflict is worth fighting. You are not obligated to explain yourself. You are not responsible for how others choose to see you. Your only job is to remain aligned with your values, your purpose, and your standards. That is your fortress. That is your power. When you operate from this level of emotional command, people feel it. They may not understand it, but they will respect it. Your peace will be unsettling to the reactive. Your discipline will offend the undisciplined. Your confidence will threaten the insecure. Let it. Your job is not to be digestible. Your job is to be undeniable. And the man who is emotionally invincible cannot be denied. He is consistent. He is clear. He is committed. And he is rare. Understand that most of the world lives in emotional chaos. They wake up and absorb noise. They focus through distractions. They react to everything. Their days are run by mood, not mission. That cannot be you. You must be ruthless in protecting your focus. Create rituals that prime your emotions daily. Morning stillness, intentional movement, affirmations spoken with conviction, deep focus blocks, strategic solitude. These are not luxuries. They are necessities. You are reprogramming the most important system in your life, your inner world. The man who masters his emotions masters his fate, because emotions shape decisions. Decisions shape habits. Habits shape destiny. It all begins inside. You must also train your recovery. Emotional invincibility does not mean perfection. You will feel pressure. You will make mistakes. You will experience pain. But you will recover faster. That is the difference. Most men take days or weeks to return to center. You will train yourself to return in minutes. You will become so self-aware, so grounded, that even when you are knocked off balance, you know how to recalibrate. That speed of recovery is your weapon. Breathe, reframe, refocus. Do it over and over until it becomes your automatic response. Train it in the small things. Delays, interruptions, minor criticisms, use them as drills. Do not dismiss them. Master them. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. If you collapse over small things, how will you face the storm? Emotional invincibility is built in the mundane. And here is the most powerful truth. You will begin to love pressure. You will seek it, because pressure reveals who you are. It brings your character to the surface. It is not your enemy. It is your proving ground. Every time life pressures you, repeat this truth. I do not break, I build. That is your new identity. From this place, you will make decisions with clarity, speak with authority, act with power, and create with vision. You will no longer fear rejection, because your worth is not up for debate. You will no longer chase validation, because your conviction is your compass. You will no longer panic in uncertainty, because your foundation is internal. You are becoming a force, a man whose presence calms the room, a man whose words carry weight, a man whose actions align with his purpose. Not someday, now. But it requires one thing: relentless training. Train daily. Reflect deeply. Speak intentionally. Move precisely. Build your emotional strength like a fortress, stone by stone, day by day. And soon you will stand among the few, the rare men who command life, not react to it. That is what it means to be emotionally invincible. That is who you are becoming. The emotionally invincible man does not wait for life to stabilize before he takes action. He creates stability within himself first. That stability becomes the foundation from which all his decisions are made. Not because the world is gentle, but because he is strong. Do not be fooled into thinking that strength means suppressing how you feel. No, emotional suppression is weakness disguised as stoicism. True invincibility comes not from burying your emotions, but from understanding them, commanding them, and converting them into power. When fear shows up, acknowledge it. Look it in the eye and say, I see you, but I will not yield to you. When disappointment arrives, accept it for what it is. Feedback. Nothing more. It cannot define you unless you let it. When frustration boils up, use it as a signal. What standard was violated? What needs to be fixed? What lesson is there to learn? This is emotional alchemy. You turn raw emotion into refined fuel. Most men don't do this. They explode, implode, or retreat. You, however, transform. This transformation must become your habit, a lifestyle, not a moment of motivation, but a decision repeated hourly, daily, forever. It starts with how you wake up. From the first breath of your morning, you must command your state. You do not check your phone. You do not let other people's agendas hijack your focus. You own your morning. You prime your mind with clarity, your body with movement, your soul with vision. Ask yourself, what emotion serves my mission today? Then choose that emotion. Don't wait to feel it, generate it. If you need confidence, adopt it in your posture. If you need calm, create it in your breath. If you need hunger, activate it in your routine. This is how you reprogram your nervous system to work for you, not against you. And just as important, watch your internal dialogue throughout the day. The emotionally weak man allows 1,000 unspoken thoughts to sabotage his strength. I'm not good enough. They're probably judging me. I always mess things up. These thoughts go unchallenged. They become beliefs. Those beliefs become behavior, and that behavior becomes destiny. You must intercept these thoughts with precision. When a disempowering thought arises, confront it like a general correcting a soldier. That thought does not belong here. It is not aligned with who I am. Then replace it instantly. I am focused. I am ready. I rise under pressure. I create momentum now. Don't let these words just sit in your mind. Speak them out loud. Declare them with authority. Language is the software of the soul. Speak as a man who leads himself, because if you cannot lead yourself, you will never be trusted to lead others. And success is built on leadership, first internal, then external. Your emotional invincibility is the first test of that leadership. How do you show up when no one is watching? What choices do you make when it's hard, boring, or discouraging? That's when the real work is done. That's when your edge is forged. The world rewards those who are consistent in spirit, who can maintain their focus even when there's no applause, who can move forward without validation, who can remain disciplined when nothing is working yet. And when others panic, you remain calm. When others gossip, you remain focused. When others doubt, you remain certain. This level of emotional discipline becomes your superpower. Now, let's get practical. If you want to remain emotionally invincible, you must track your patterns. Write this down. Awareness equals control. You cannot manage what you do not measure. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what emotion dominated me today? Did that emotion serve me or sabotage me? What triggered it? How did I respond? What would the highest version of me have done? Answer these questions without ego. Be ruthless in your honesty. Because emotional invincibility is not built on comfort. It is built on truth. And truth, when embraced, will set you free. You must also become aware of your physical environment. Emotion is tied to your body. If your environment is chaotic, your mind becomes scattered. If your body is neglected, your emotions become reactive. If your space is full of clutter, so will your thoughts be. Control your space. Control your routine. Control your energy. High-performance emotions come from high-performance environments. Organize your life like a man who respects his vision. Your phone, your desk, your home, everything should support your mental clarity and emotional control. Now, let us talk about the trap most men fall into. trying to escape emotion instead of mastering it. They numb it with distraction. They binge. They overwork. They self-medicate, all in an attempt to avoid the discomfort of being alone with themselves. But that silence, those quiet moments when the world fades away, that is where your power is born. You must learn to sit with your emotions, to face them without fear, to ask them what they're trying to teach you. When you do, something incredible happens. You begin to separate yourself from your emotions. You realize, I am not this anger. I am not this sadness. I am not this doubt. I am the observer. I am the commander. And from that place of command, you choose your response. That response creates alignment, and alignment creates power. This is not philosophy. This is reality. Emotional mastery creates leverage in every area of your life. In business, in relationships, in decision-making, those who lead with calm clarity always outperform those who react with blind emotion. You want wealth? Be emotionally disciplined. You want freedom? Be emotionally unshakable. You want impact? Be emotionally resilient. Let me remind you, your emotional habits either compound for you or against you. Every day, every hour, every minute, you are rehearsing who you are becoming. So rehearse strength. Rehearse presence. Rehearse certainty. And when you fail, and you will, don't collapse. Don't spiral. Don't shame yourself. Instead, reset immediately. Breathe. Get centered. Refocus on your mission. And move again. Failure is not the problem. Prolonged disempowerment is. Emotionally invincible men know how to return, how to snap back into power without needing time, attention, or applause. That's the skill. That's the edge. You become the thermostat in every environment. While others are thermometers reacting to temperature, you set it. You bring calm to chaos. You bring order to overwhelm. You bring leadership to confusion. That is what the world is craving. Men who can be trusted. Men who do not lose themselves when things get hard. Men who are the same at midnight as they are at sunrise. Men who do not disappear in difficulty, but emerge from it clearer and stronger. That's who you are becoming. But it's not automatic. It's intentional. Emotional invincibility must be earned every day, every choice, every moment. You earn it by choosing vision over emotion. You earn it by choosing purpose over pleasure. You earn it by choosing strength over sympathy. And you earn it by choosing to lead yourself before expecting to lead anyone else. So the next time pressure rises, ask yourself, who am I in this moment? Not who you used to be, not who others expect you to be, but who you are now as a man of vision, of power, of peace. Hold that image. Act from it. Speak from it. Build from it. And do it again tomorrow. And the next day, and the day after that. Until emotional strength is not something you try to do. It's just who you are. This is the man the world cannot shake. This is the man you were meant to become.